Look, I think the whole mining process is ripe for disruption. I believe that because not only is technology advancing so much faster, I think society is demanding some of these changes. So whether that be our employees who are used to using technology at home, they're used to apps constantly updating, they're used to social media, they're used to easy to use technology. Whether that be governments and communities who are demanding, greater environmental performance from us, greater transparency from us, greater wealth creation and wealth sharing. But I think, all of those aspects will then build towards, a future for mining that is significantly different to what we have at the moment. I think, the industry itself is ripe for disruption. For many reasons. One is because our own employees will be demanding different things from us. The governments and communities will also be demanding greater environmental responsibility. So I think the key areas that will have disruption, exploration and how we define our ore bodies, how we find our ore bodies, especially now with artificial intelligence and with drone technology and other technologies that make that a very different process. We've spoken about automation, electrification, so the actual extraction process, the moving and the logistics process. I think even the processing as we make that smaller, get it closer to the face. We use different technologies to even extract the commodity that we're looking for from the minerals. I've spoken a number of times about the way I think technologies such as blockchain will actually change not only the way we interact with society in terms of how our identifications are stored, how we do banking, how we do loans, how we create contracts. I think all of that as well will be quite disruptive for the industry. And then I think that to some extent the most important one is actually how we relate to not only each other in terms of our employees, but also how we relate to other companies, how we relate to communities, and how we relate to governments. And I think that concept of a more symbiotic relationship and deeper relationships within the mining industry, I think that's going to be a very important one going forward as well. So look, I think the mine of the future will be quite different from an energy and an environmental impacts perspective. I think we're really going to have to think about, certainly in gold mining, the two biggest impacts on energy are the amount of waste that we move, which is anywhere between 10 and 16 tonnes per 5 grams of gold. So I think the more we can fundamentally change technologies so that we reduce the amount of waste that we move, we just extract the minerals, that's going to make a significant difference to the energy usage. I think that the second thing will be, or that it takes up a lot of energy, is the water treatment, because water treatment's not just in the short term, but it's over 100 years. So I think we're really going to have to, again, not move so much waste, not process so much waste, but also potentially think about how we disrupt that acid creation in the first place, so that then we don't have that long tail of water treatment. And then I think the other changes will be just a fundamental move from using diesel as a primary source of energy to far more renewable sources. So I think we'll see a lot more solar, more wind, more battery technology to really take advantage of whatever is not only a low-cost solution, but also a much more renewable solution. And I think having that renewable solutions is, and moving towards carbon neutrality will be absolutely fundamental to the mining industry being acceptable as we go forward. So look, I think 2018 is going to be a really exciting year. I think there's a lot of really interesting work that's going on in mining. I was listening to the gentleman from Sprott before saying that he felt that 2018 was going to be a really important year in terms of not only still having reasonably good commodity prices, but also as we start introducing technologies and some of these improvements, actually potentially improving safety outcomes, which is, I think, fundamentally important. Profitability outcomes and productivity outcomes. So I'm actually really excited about 2018, and certainly from the work that we're going to be doing. I think there's a lot of opportunity. Look, I think there are a lot of benefits from participating in events like IMARC. For me, it's an opportunity to really get different ideas from people, because I often interact with people here that I may not do on a regular basis in my normal sort of working life, both from some really interesting startups that I've spoken to today, right through to some of the larger companies and starting to talk about some of the future designs that they might have for some of their products. I get to see people that I haven't seen in the industry for a long time. I actually banged into someone today who was somebody I really looked up to 25 years ago. He was in a much more senior position to me when I was a young graduate engineer, so it was great to see him and talk about some of the work that he's done in the 25 years that I haven't seen him, so that was really exciting as well. And I think it's just an opportunity to also hear from various speakers some of their thoughts about the industry, what they're doing, how it fits in, what it might look like. So I think it's been a fabulous couple of days so far. So thank you.